Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy English StoryLab. Today, we will practice English with a story for B1 to B2 learners. Listen carefully, pause the video, repeat after me, copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and emotion. This is the shadowing technique. Now, let's begin. My name is Lina. I am 24 years old and I live alone in a small apartment near the city hospital. I moved to this city last year for my job. At first, everything felt exciting. New streets, new faces, new cafes, new life. But after some months, I started to feel something else, too. Living alone means you are free, but it also means that when something goes wrong, you face it by yourself. I work as a graphic designer in a small company. My job is creative but stressful. Deadlines come fast, and I often sit in front of my computer for many hours without moving. Sometimes I forget to eat on time. Sometimes I drink too much coffee and not enough water. I tell myself I am young and strong, so nothing bad will happen. That was my mistake. One Tuesday night, I came home very tired. My head hurt and my eyes felt heavy. I dropped my bag near the door and stood still for a moment. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. I walked slowly to the kitchen. I did not feel hungry, but I knew I had to eat something. I opened the fridge, but there was only juice, some old vegetables, and half a lemon. I didn't want to cook. I just wanted to rest. So I made instant noodles. While eating, I felt a small pain in my stomach. It was not strong, just a little uncomfortable feeling, like pressure. It's nothing, I told myself. Maybe I ate too fast. Maybe I drank too much coffee. I finished my food and sat on the couch. I watched short videos on my phone, trying to relax. The room was dark except for the light from the screen. Outside, I could hear cars passing and someone laughing far away. But after some time, the pain did not go away. It slowly became stronger. I put my hand on my stomach. My body felt strange, like something inside was not right. I stood up and walked around the room. Maybe I just need to sleep, I said quietly. I brushed my teeth and went to bed, but I could not sleep. I turned left, I turned right, I pulled the blanket closer, I pushed it away. Nothing helped. The pain was now sharp, like a knife. I looked at the clock on my phone, 12:37 a.m. The room was dark and silent. My breathing sounded loud in my ears. I could even hear my heartbeat. I sat up slowly and drank some water. My hands were shaking a little. My mouth felt dry. Should I go to the hospital? I thought. But the idea scared me. It was late. I was alone. I did not know anyone in my building well. My parents were in another city. My best friend was traveling. I don't want to go alone, I whispered. I tried to lie down again. Suddenly, the pain hit harder than before. I gasped and held my stomach tightly. Tears came to my eyes. I got out of bed and walked slowly to the bathroom. I turned on the light and looked in the mirror. My face was pale. My eyes looked tired and scared. My hair was messy. I did not look like myself. Then I felt dizzy. The room started to move a little. My legs felt weak. I held the sink and closed my eyes. That was the moment I understood something clearly. This was not normal. This was not just a small pain. I needed a doctor. I stood in the bathroom, holding the sink, trying to breathe slowly. The pain in my stomach did not stop. It came in waves, strong and sharp, like something inside was squeezing me. I closed my eyes and waited for it to pass, but it didn't. "I can't stay here," I whispered. I walked back to my bedroom carefully. Every step felt heavy, and I had to move slowly. I put on a sweater and warm socks. My fingers felt cold, even though the room was not cold. My body felt weak, but my mind was clear now. I had to go to the hospital. I took my phone, my wallet, and my keys. For a moment, I stood near the door, looking at my small apartment. The couch, the table, the lamp in the corner, everything looked normal, but I did not feel normal. "I'll be okay," I told myself again, but my voice sounded unsure. The hallway outside my apartment was empty and quiet. The lights were dim and my footsteps echoed softly. It felt strange to leave the building in the middle of the night. Usually I was asleep at this hour. When I reached the street, cold air touched my face. The city looked different at night. Shops were closed. The road was almost empty. A few cars passed slowly, their headlights bright in the dark. I opened a taxi app on my phone, but my hands were shaking and I pressed the wrong buttons. I stopped, took a deep breath, and tried again. A taxi was coming in 6 minutes. 6 minutes felt like a long time. I leaned against the wall of the building and closed my eyes. My stomach hurt again, and I bent forward a little, holding myself. I felt small and alone. A man walking his dog passed by. He looked at me with concern. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm fine," I said quickly, even though I wasn't. He nodded and kept walking. Finally, I saw headlights turn into my street. The taxi stopped in front of me. I opened the door slowly and got inside. The driver looked at me through the mirror. He was an older man with tired eyes. "Hospital?" he asked. "Yes, please," I said quietly. During the ride, I looked out the window. Streetlights moved past like yellow lines. Buildings looked dark and silent. My reflection in the glass looked pale and scared. I tried not to cry. I did not want to feel weak, but fear was growing inside me. What if it's something serious, I thought. What if I waited too long? What if I need surgery? What if I can't call my parents? My heart beat fast. I placed my hand on my stomach again. The pain was still there, strong and steady now. The taxi stopped in front of the hospital entrance. Bright white lights made the building look cold and serious. I paid the driver and stepped out carefully. Inside, the air smelled like medicine and cleaning products. The floor was shiny and clean. Everything looked organized and quiet. A nurse sat behind a desk. She looked up when she saw me. "How can I help you?" she asked gently. My stomach hurts a lot. My voice sounded small and tired. She asked questions calmly. "When did it start? Do you feel dizzy? Do you have a fever?" I answered slowly, trying to remember everything. She gave me a form and pointed to the waiting area. "Please sit. We will call you soon." The waiting room had a few people. A man held his arm. A woman coughed softly. A child slept on a chair next to her mother. Everyone looked tired and worried. I sat down and held my stomach. Every minute felt long. The pain did not go away. I looked at the clock again and again.
Finally, a nurse opened the door and called my name. Lina? I stood up carefully and followed her. She took me to a small room and checked my blood pressure and temperature. The doctor will see you soon, she said kindly. I sat on the bed and waited. The room was quiet. I could hear my own breathing again. Then the door opened. A doctor walked in, calm and serious. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked. I took a deep breath. "I think I need help," I said.
The doctor pulled a chair closer to the bed and sat down. His voice was calm, and that helped me breathe a little easier. "Tell me exactly what you are feeling," he said. "My stomach started hurting earlier tonight," I explained slowly. "At first it was small, but it became worse. Now it's strong and sharp. I feel dizzy too, and my body feels weak." He nodded and wrote something on a tablet. "Did you eat anything unusual today?" "Not really," I said. "I skipped lunch and drank coffee. At night, I only ate instant noodles." He looked at me carefully. "Your body needs better care," he said gently. "But first, let's make sure everything is okay." A nurse came in and helped me lie down properly. The doctor pressed different parts of my stomach slowly. "Does it hurt here?" he asked. "Yes," I said quickly. "And here?" "Even more," I answered, my voice shaking. He stopped and looked serious. "We need to run some tests to be safe," he said. Hearing that made my heart beat faster. Tests sounded serious, but I was also relieved. Finally, someone was helping me. I was not alone anymore. They took a blood sample. I looked away when the needle touched my arm. The nurse spoke softly to calm me down. Then they took me for an ultrasound. I lay on another bed while a cold gel touched my stomach. A machine moved slowly across my skin. I watched the ceiling lights while the machine made soft sounds. I felt small, like a child, and very quiet inside. Why didn't I take better care of myself, I thought. Why did I ignore my body? Why did I think I was always fine? After some time, I was taken back to the room. I waited there, listening to the sounds of the hospital, footsteps, quiet voices, machines beeping far away. Time felt slow. Finally, the doctor returned. His face looked calm, not worried. "You came at the right time," he said. "It's an infection in your stomach, painful but treatable. You will need medicine, rest, and better eating habits." I felt tears in my eyes, not from fear but from relief. "So, it's not something dangerous?" I asked. "No," he smiled gently, "but you must listen to your body. Eat properly, drink water, rest. Your body is not a machine." His words stayed in my mind. A nurse gave me medicine and water. Slowly, the pain became softer, not as sharp as before. My body felt tired but safer. While resting in the room, I thought about the night, about being scared, about being alone, about almost not coming. If I had stayed at home, things could have been worse. I might have fainted. I might have needed more serious treatment. I understood something important. Asking for help is not weakness, it is responsibility. In the morning, when the sky became light, I was allowed to go home. I walked outside slowly. The air felt fresh and birds were singing. The city looked normal again, but I felt different. I called my sister. "I went to the hospital last night," I said. She sounded worried. "Are you okay?" "Yes," I smiled, "but I learned something." "What?" "That being strong doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means asking for help when you need it." She was quiet for a moment, then said softly, "I'm proud of you." I walked home slowly, holding my bag, feeling tired but peaceful. That night was scary, but it taught me something important. Sometimes the bravest thing you can say is simple, "I need a doctor." Now it's your turn to practice. Go back to the beginning of this video. Listen again. Pause after each sentence and repeat out loud. Copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and emotion. This is the shadowing technique, and it will help you speak more naturally. Practice a little every day. Even 10 minutes makes a difference. If this story helped you, please like the video, subscribe to Easy English Story Lab, and write a comment. Thank you for learning with us. See you in the next story.